governorship candidates, coordinators of the PCC presidential campaign council. It was basically to the early hours of Saturday, precisely at about 2:30 a.m. of INEC decision to hold the result of 1 week, and of course the governorship and the State House of Assembly by 1 week. We reviewed our campaigns across the country, and we give thanks to God that throughout those campaigns, across the north, south, east, west, across, to the glory of God, in spite of all the security challenges that we are very familiar with, there was not one single incident of terrorist attack or any violent attack at any of those rallies across the country, not only by APC, but also by other political parties that participated in campaigns. And we say to God be the glory. However, APC deeply regrets the death of many of our supporters who demonstrated so much passion, love, and commitment, particularly to the candidature of President Muhammadu Buhari, who, on account of the huge number that turned out in many of those locations, some died as a result of stampede and suffocation. The national is silence in their memory. I will pray to God Almighty to grant them peace in heaven. We also reviewed the shocking announcement by INEC, the subsequent explanation by the INEC chairman on Saturday after the Congress, condemned the way in which INEC had managed this process. Possible source of challenges and take appropriate steps to arrest. INEC cannot give excuses. There is nothing new that we have not experienced since 1999. What the All-Progressive Congress expected, and I believe all decent and peace-loving Nigerians, is that INEC had the advantage, unlike its predecessors, to have learned from the challenges confronted by its predecessors, improve on the method, improve on logistics, transparent and credible election. In spite of this and asked for, and which the National Assembly appropriated, and which the executive promptly released to INEC, in spite of us to this huge embarrassment as a nation, and by that action alone, a lot of our countrymen and women are completely disillusioned. However, we recognize at the same that we cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. Frustrated as we are, and disillusioned as the Nigerian electorate is right now, we have a duty, all of us, including the media, to remind our countrymen and women that this is our country. This is the time to stand up and be counted on the side of democracy. Nothing, and absolutely nothing, that is done by INEC or indeed anyone that has any role to play in the management of this electoral process should dampen the spirit of the Nigerian people to go out and vote and elect a president of their choosing, National Assembly members of their choosing, and of course governors and House of Assembly members of their choosing. If anything, the sacrifices already made by the Nigerian people, those millions of people who turned out at various campaign grounds, their sweat, their pain, and indeed even those who died because of stampede, they mustn't be allowed to die in vain. The least we can do as a people is to remain resolute, and the National Caucus call on Nigerian people to remain resolute and come out on Saturday and cast their vote in full freedom, without fear of harassment, fear of intimidation, or any other thing that could provide excuse for anyone not to come to vote. Mr. President, in his capacity as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has reiterated his commitment and directed to protect and to give confidence to the electorate so that Nigerian people can come out and exercise their right to vote and to ensure that those votes are counted. We also want to use this opportunity, that is the National Caucus, to remind INEC that whoever has power must use them. We recognize that the law provides specific responsibilities for INEC, but in exercising their rights and responsibilities within the provisions of the law, lack the wisdom to carry along critical stakeholders without whose support INEC can. Repeating that INEC ought to arrange political party leaders share with us their concerns, their observations, their fears, and even their hope. Together, look at all the options that are possible, so that the kind of root shock that Nigerians were subjected to will be avoided. So we urge all our members, and indeed the Nigerian people, to remain steadfast and committed. We mustn't dismiss our country. We mustn't dismiss INEC, even with the obvious incompetence. We have managed this year's edition of the national election. We have to keep INEC on their toes to ensure that never again will they find any excuse. And all Nigerians should be able to point out anything they observe that they feel, if it is not corrected, can possibly be the conduct of free, fair, and credible election. However, we also affirm, the Council also affirm, that in line with the extant provisions in the amendment, in the Electoral Act as amended, that in order to ensure and avoid low turnout on Saturday, we have campaigns to go around the country, and we have encouraged all our officers, organs, and all those involved in the campaign to proceed in accordance with the provisions of the law to sustain campaign up until 24 hours before Saturday. That is to say, campaign will stop at 12 midnight on Thursday this week. This is the provision of the law, and this we are prepared to abide with. Low turnout is the best incentive for election riggers. When the people really turn out, the room to manipulate the election results go out across the country, across the 176 polling points, to reawaken the people's consciousness and encourage them to come out to vote Saturday. On this issue, we disagree completely with the illegal pronouncement of the INEC leadership with regards to our right as a political party to continue with the campaign in the face of this postponement that INEC has done unilaterally. After reviewing reports from across many of our states, we are shocked to observe that in many states in which PDP are government, that a lot of the high-dog staff that INEC has deployed are card-carrying members of the PDP. This is very, very unfortunate. INEC has a duty to screen and to ensure that those deployed as high-dog staff, whom we function as presiding officers at local government and world community centers, are not card-carrying members of any political. We all review this situation and effect the appropriate corrections. Happily, INEC has said they are going to renew retrain those they have already trained. I think this opportunity offered them opportunity to revisit and properly re-identify those they have recruited as idle staff and ensure that they are not card-carrying members of any political party. The National Caucus also orders security agencies, including the police, state security services, and even the armed forces, who are involved in ensuring that elections are conducted in a free and safe environment. There have been unverified reports about people who have been caught with printed and even already prepared result sheets in some part of the country. I am not able to name those involved in this, but we are informed and we have no reason to doubt some of these people have been handed political party, regardless of his political party or the interest he represents, that anyone found with any of these sensitive materials, which ought not to be in the custody of any other person other than INEC, that once apprehended, police will ensure that they are kept out of circulation until they are able to diligently investigate and prosecute those involved in this attempt to manipulate the election. Happily, those who have been arrested so far, from all that we have been told and we have no reason to doubt, are all PDP activists. The caucus having expressed deep concern about this sudden postponement. We also have some worries about ensuring that this Saturday, the postponed date, that date is sacrosanct. Therefore, we urge INEC and we urge Nigerians to encourage INEC to do whatever it has to do to ensure that on Saturday there is no excuse whatsoever. The ballot papers must be delivered timely. Every material required for the conduct of the election must get to the polling booth not earlier or not later than 8 a.m. when these elections are billed to start. Having postponed this election, Nigeria will not accept any excuse from INEC or from any quarters. Materials must be available at 8 a.m. and we expect that voting commences nationwide. Like some people who have made observation, APC believe that elections should be done at the same time nationwide, opposed to staggered elections. Nations that are even more in population and more diverse are able to conduct their elections without staggering. We have no reason not to do the same. In any case, since 1999, we have been doing elections without having to recourse to staggering, except when those elections were inconclusive. Lastly, we remain curious, and to that extent, we are very suspicious of the leadership of INEC. It is now clear to us from all that we have seen that the People's Democratic Party and their candidates and top leaders were aware that the elections will not take place. This we can be confirmed by some of the tweets, some of the conversations they've had, and some of the messaging they have passed across within their party lines, informing them that election will not take place, even at the time that we as the governing party were not even known. So INEC has a duty now. We are asking INEC to explain to us how is it that the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces did not have privileged information that INEC would postpone election. You heard the President this morning saying he was only waking up at about 4:30 a.m. waiting for his early morning prayer when he was informed that the elections will not hold and that INEC has postponed the election. If the President did not have access to privileged information until about 4 a.m. when he woke up to say his morning prayers, how can INEC explain that PDP hierarchy had information, prior knowledge of the postponement of the fact that the elections were not going to take place. These and many other activities have raised doubt in our mind about the impartiality of INEC and the unholy alliance between a section of INEC leadership and the PDP establishment. If it becomes necessary between now and Saturday to speak more to these and other issues that we have come to discover, we will not hesitate to do so. But let me conclude by saying that as a government party, we recognize that regardless of our huge results, and as a country that has provided Nigeria troops to defend democracy within our sub-region and beyond, we have no excuse whatsoever not to be able to manage our elections in a way that will enable every Nigerian to celebrate the citizenship of this country. So for those foreign observers and local observers, I want to assure them, as far as our party is concerned, we welcome them as partners in progress who are prepared to share with us their own experiences. However, having said that, we are not a colony of any country. We are a sovereign, and even in this moment, we are not ready to subject our sovereignty to the supervision of any. We are the greatest power on the African continent, and we defend and uphold the integrity of our great nation. Thank you so much, members of the press. You have been here all the period. Some of you travel around the country along the various presidential candidates and senatorial candidates, and all those who are in the election. No, when I say you, I'm speaking through, I'm not going to do you in this room. There are many, there is no way that you stand. I saw cameramen, women, journalists, defense and persons across the country. So if you didn't travel, you were one of the candidates. I appreciate who you are. Thank you very much, and God bless you.